Today, we're going to trace the path of a river that's so much more than just a line on a map. We're following the Godavari, a flowing lifeline that's seen as a goddess, a mother, and a true cultural icon for millions in India. So let's begin its sacred journey.
So, what is it really that transforms a simple body of water into a sacred being? I mean, in Hinduism, water is seen as the great purifier, the source of life itself. But still, how does one specific river get elevated to the status of a goddess? Let's find out. All right, our story starts, like all the best ones do, right at the very source, a place where geography and mythology literally crash into each other to give birth to something truly epic. Geographically speaking, the Godavari springs to life high up in the Western Ghats, in the Trimbakeshwar mountains of Maharashtra. This is the physical starting block for a journey that's going to stretch right across the heart of the Indian peninsula.
You know, the river's most famous title is Dakshina Ganga. And this isn't just some catchy nickname, it's a huge declaration of its importance. It means that for the people in the south, the Godavari holds a spiritual weight and holiness that's on par with the mighty Ganga River of the north.
Okay, so from its mountain origins, the Godavari begins its long, winding journey eastward. It carves this incredible path across the vast Deccan Plateau, becoming an absolute lifeline for everything and everyone it touches.
And what a journey it is. We're talking about 1,465 kilometers. Just to put that into perspective for you, that makes the Godavari the second longest river in all of India, second only to the Ganges itself. It's a truly immense waterway.
This comparison really helps drive home that whole Ganga of the South idea. See, just like the Ganga nourishes the northern plains, the Godavari is the essential lifeline for southern and central India. It defines the agriculture, the culture, and the faith of the region.
So the river's path takes it on a course through 3 major states. It all starts in Maharashtra, then it flows across the heartland of Telangana, and finally it greets the coastal plains of Andhra Pradesh on its way out to sea.
But listen, the Godavari's story isn't just about geography. Not at all. Its true character, its soul, you could say, is shaped by the ancient legends that flow right within its currents. This is where the river really becomes a goddess. So that begs the question, right? If this river is so incredibly sacred, where did it even come from? Well, according to legend, it wasn't always here. It was actually brought to earth through a powerful act of prayer and pure devotion.
The story revolves around the great sage Gautama. So imagine this. He's wrongly accused of a truly terrible sin, killing a sacred cow. To clear his name from a crime he never even committed, he undertakes this intense penance, praying with every ounce of his being to Lord Shiva. Shiva, who's moved by this incredible devotion, answers his prayer with a cosmic gift. He brings a stream of the celestial Ganga, the river of the heavens, down to earth. This holy water rushes over the land, washing away the false accusation and purifying everything it touches. And that sacred stream, well, that became the Godavari. This just captures the whole essence of the myth perfectly, doesn't it? The Godavari was born from a need for forgiveness. It's a symbol of divine grace. Literally, a river created to cleanse a soul. And because of this incredibly deep connection to these ancient sages, the Godavari is known by a whole bunch of names. It's called Gautami in honor of sage Gautama, and its different branches are named after other revered sages like Vashishta and Bharadwaja, forever tying the river to its mythological roots. Now, when you have a river that's this sacred, it's only natural that its banks have become a destination for millions of devotees. The journey along the Godavari is, in itself, a pilgrimage. I want you to think of the river's course not just as a physical path, but as a living, breathing map of faith. From its source all the way to the sea, its banks are just lined with this constellation of holy towns and ancient temples, and every single one has its own story. And wow, the list of holy sites is just incredible. It starts at Trimbakeshwar, its very source, and it includes major centers like Nashik and the famous Bhadrachalam. It traces a path of faith all the way down to Antarvedi, where the river finally meets the sea. Each one is a vital link in this sacred chain. All this spiritual energy culminates in a massive festival called the Pushkaram. It's only celebrated once every 12 years, and it draws millions and millions of pilgrims to the river's banks for sacred bathing. It's one of the largest religious gatherings on the entire planet.
Well, every river's journey has to come to an end. And for the Godavari, this final chapter isn't just about merging with the ocean. It's about leaving one final, lasting gift to the land.
As it gets closer to the coast, the river slows down and splits into several branches, like the Gautama and Vishista we mentioned earlier. This process drops all this rich silt, creating one of India's most fertile deltas, a massive rice bowl for the entire nation.
And so, after 1,465 kilometers, the journey finally concludes. At the sacred site of Antarvedi, the Godavari at last merges its waters with the vast expanse of the Bay of Bengal, completing its epic cycle. So when you boil it all down, what's the river's legacy? Well, you can think about it in three big ways. For agriculture, it's the water that sustains countless farms. For culture, it's the backdrop for all those ancient myths and vibrant festivals. And for faith, it is a sacred path to the divine. In the end, it's just so clear that Godavari is so much more than a river. It's a flowing story, always telling the legends of its past. It's a provider, nourishing the land and its people, and for millions, it is and always will be a living, breathing, sacred entity. And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. The Godavari carries with it the stories of sages, of faith, of an entire civilization. So, if all rivers carry our stories, what are future generations going to read in their waters about us?